Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. Today's video is just going to be a casual, chill look at the Halloween event rerun. I'm going to play through it and clear all of the content that's available so far. We'll take a look at how the Wyrmprint shop has expanded with the new limited time Wyrmprints, maybe talk a little bit about the banner and the mana spiral now that they're out. But basically, this will just be more like a gameplay video with my first look at the event. Obviously, since it's a rerun, we will skip through the story today, but I want to make this anyway since I know this is a really exciting moment for a lot of players who may have missed out on this the first time it was around. So you see the beautiful artwork of the banner. We also got a login bonus, but I picked that up on my phone, so now that I'm playing and recording, I'm not going to see that splash screen that you get when you first log in. But the login bonus looks really nice on this. Lots of notifications, so we'll first go through a couple of these, since there is some cool stuff not only this week, but coming next week. So, as with a lot of these limited time events, you know, they run some special promotions alongside them, where they make the appropriate element regular daily quests better, through double drops or through permanent availability. So for instance, this time around, because light characters are good in this event, the Light Elemental Ruins Expert is going to be open the entire duration of the event, and you get double drops from it. Same thing with Jupiter's Trial. Obviously, that's always available on its highest difficulty no matter the day, but you get double drops. And same thing with the Light Imperial Onslaught, you're getting double drops from that. They've also made the campaign chapters focused on the light element, so 4 and 9, give you double drops on the very hard difficulty, I believe. Maybe all the difficulties. Yeah, all the difficulties, but the very hard difficulty in particular is relevant because that's where you can get tier 4 elemental orbs, especially on those EX quests. So that's not a bad way to collect those, but I'm probably going to wait out and see if there's not another promotion that may happen with the story chapter that's coming out. So let's get into that. That's probably our next piece of news. Well, there's something about the Wyrmprints, but we'll take a look at those in depth. So yeah, Chapter 14 happening on Monday, Chaos in the Capital. There's a pretty cool trailer over on the Nintendo Mobile channel. I'll post the same link in the description below if you haven't seen it yet. It's not a lot of new information compared to what we already know about the chapter, but remember, this is the chapter that we're going to be in Seoul, Alberia. Has lots of really cool and exciting looking maps. So I'm really looking forward to that, and we're also confirmed to be getting a character from this. All signs point to Zethia, in my opinion. I mean, if you look at what's going on with this image, her being in the trailer, Yuden mentioning that he's going to rescue her at any cost, so I think we may be headed toward the setup of Dark Emperor Yuden here, and getting Zethia to join our team. It would be fitting to have a wand unit as part of the permanent selection of story adventurers, even though we're getting some 3 stars permanently now as well. That same day, we're also going to get the title Chimera appearing in Void Battles, so no indication of any other Chimera plus Phantom. Pretty much locks in that the Twins Agito happening at the end of this month is going to be Flame Element, in case there are people who still had any doubt about that. There is a possibility that should be raised, I suppose, where because there are 2 adventurers, they could have 2 different elements. That would be pretty interesting. I don't think they're going to go that route, but say one of them could be light or shadow, and it wouldn't necessarily diminish the content being focused on water characters per se. If one of them is light, it might, because shadow is so strong as an element, but let's say one of them is shadow, one of them is flame, you still might want to bring a mostly water team to the battle, so I think they could do that, but I feel like it's very unlikely. Alright, so that's all happening Monday. We have Wyrmprints added to the shop. Halloween login bonus, like I said, we didn't get to see the beautiful splash art of the Candy Courier's Wyrmprint, but these are nice bonuses. 20 Exquisite Honey to start things off. Good amount of Wyrmite, more than a 10-fold summon's worth, 1600. A 10-fold summon voucher, which I'm very appreciative of, having spent more than I should have on Nadine and Linnea's banner. And then 2 Champions Testaments, which we could always use more of, considering how expensive mana spirals are and just getting characters to 50 nodes, or even getting 5-star characters to 45 nodes can be. So it's nice to see that. We get our usual news post that the event is happening, that the banner is happening, confirmation, of course, that all the Light Element adventurers that we expected and the Light Element Dragon from 2018 are indeed on this banner. They do have a raid up, so it pretty much worked out just as expected. And the Wyrmprints that are back for a limited time still are Candy Couriers, Witch's Kitchen, Of Tricks and Treats, Masquerade Mission, Silk Lends a Hand, and, most important to me, Pumpkin Pale. Believe it or not, Pumpkin Pale is the last Wyrmprint that I am missing from my collection of Wyrmprints. I don't know why, I forgot to purchase this last year. I have all of the other Wyrmprints and multiples of mini Wyrmprints, but I do not have a single copy of Pumpkin Pale. So I've been waiting for this rerun forever because this is the only 3-star Wyrmprint that I don't have in my collection. So finally, we're going to go ahead and start off by redeeming this, get our full 5 copies, head over to the upgrade page, go to Wyrmprints, and let's go ahead and unbind this and max level it. Now, I am a collector of sorts, that's why I'm waiting for the encyclopedia, and trying to build out a weapon collection, Wyrmprint collection, and so on. But not everybody is, so obviously if you're not, these types of Wyrmprints pretty much have no value. Most of the 3 stars are just completely surpassed by 4 stars and 5 stars, so I don't think you should feel a need to spend Eldwater getting these. It's just that I wanted them, or this one in particular, to round out my collection, and we'll also go ahead and use it to round out my event team. Remember, you can click on the sort button here and sort for event perks to get relevant Wyrmprints for whatever event is currently happening. That will show us our Pumpkin Pale, which is going to increase our intake of Snack-O-Lanterns. The higher rarity prints, the 5 stars that are from the Wyrmprint shop, increase Trick or Treat intake. And the welfare print from this event, it's a classic, Plunder Pals. It used to be one of the best prints available for all free-to-play players because actual Wyrmprints you had to summon in the summoning pool. You were never guaranteed to max and bind them, but this Wyrmprint you could max and bind just by playing the event, and it gave you 30% skill damage, which is very solid. Anyway, this being the welfare print, it helps you both in the Snack-O-Lantern department and the Trick or Treats department. So we have our nice event team set up here. Got my Yuden for Player EXP, got some adventurers who I've been wanting to just try and enjoy. I've been having a lot of fun playing Gala Luca, just messing around with him in the Mercurial Gauntlet and other modes. His first skill is super sweet. It's very anime inspired. But yeah, for most players, get yourself a Candy Couriers. I might even pick up a second one. Peony is actually a good example of why you might want to do such a thing, because now co-abilities are not as exclusively locked to weapon types. You may have 2 different wands with different co-abilities and want them both in your team, and in that case, having that extra Candy Couriers could actually make a difference. So as I said, we're going to skip through the story. I've played it before. It's a cute story. It's one of the earliest stories in the game, so I feel like it is mostly focused on humor. It's very simple. We already have a sweet retreat, so we're getting 100 stamina, or 100 stamina, 100 Wyrmite. I don't even cash in Wyrmite for stamina or Gather Wing, so it's funny I said that. We have all our nice limited endeavors here, and I did create a guide for facility events in general, so I'll post a link to that or activate a card now for that. So if you want a general guide to facility events, you can check that out. I use the event compendium for that. So the big difference between when a facility event is live compared to when it's in the compendium is that there's going to be daily content for you to do that's kind of there to help you pace yourself during the event. And there will be one more difference that we'll check out after we've unlocked some of these quests. So we have to go through a few amateur level quests here, but we'll just play through these on auto and enjoy the nice music and nice ambiance. I loved how early in the game there seemed to be so much attention to the maps, and I feel like there still is to some extent. Like chapter 14 looks like it's going to be really exciting with the maps, but it's less common. It does seem like there's a little bit more regurgitation. I mean, you can just see it here. All of the Halloween ambiance, it's fantastic. Like, I would love to see this happen more often. And, oh, Cursed Treasure Chest. You haven't seen obstacles like this too often either in most regular game modes. I'm really not sure what the main limitation is. Maybe it's really hard to develop these. Maybe it's hard to sustain co-op on these longer form maps. But I would love to see more of this stuff, and even like, you know, letting you pick the map before you fight a boss. Almost like Super Smash or any type of fighting game, action game, where you get to actually pick your stage. I think that could be fun, just to have a different ambiance when you're fighting something that you have to grind so repeatedly. That's such a small change, but I think that could actually be kind of fun, kind of silly. And I'm sure you could disable it if you wanted to. All right, so we're going to collect some trick-or-treats. You don't really get a lot from these early battles, but you just have to go through the story to unlock the rest of the event. So looks like we have another battle. Way back in the day when this facility event first came out, there actually used to be something called a daily battle or daily mission, which you could only run once per day. And I think that was sort of a prototype for the grand bounties that we have now. Those are, of course, the nightmare difficulty battles that you always want to do once per day, as long as they're available in these events, as well as in raid events. So I think it's not going to be available today on the first day of the event. Usually they do give it a little bit of lag time. It depends on the particular event. But they give it a little bit of lag time for people to actually catch up. And so I don't think it's available for this event. But we'll check it out and see. If nothing else, we should be able to do the Master Difficulty Challenge battle, and I think that will be pretty fun.
Yes. Let's leave them in the cold.
All right, another quest down.
We're all in this together.
Yeah, you can see the candy, the jack-o'-lanterns, that giant bat in the background. I'm wondering if this means we're actually going to get a completely different Halloween event this year. And with this not being in the compendium, maybe they could add it to the compendium during October of this year, and meanwhile have a new Halloween event, like an Onslaught event, or even a raid. Raid reruns are, I think, a big challenge for the game's future. I don't know how that's going to be addressed, honestly, because it doesn't seem as simple to say just slap them into the event compendium, and they even acknowledge that's why they're not in the event compendium. The compendium is solo only right now. I think you just split the player base too much if you have so many permanent raids available. And maybe they could rescale them and design them in such a way that you can take them on solo. Since pretty much any raid you could technically do solo, unless it's a very hard difficulty, then you kind of need other players. But it lets you start battles solo anyway, even from the co-op menu. So maybe that's a way they could do it, but I do think they have to figure out how to get some of those past characters back in circulation, since Astral Raids give you the experience of fighting the raid boss, but you don't actually get a lot of the good rewards. And frankly, the Astral Raids payouts are not what they used to be now that augments are available in so many other ways. So we cleared another regular quest, Trees in the Twilight. Let's see how many more we have to go. I think there's probably like 3, 4, maybe 5 little story chapters here that we'll skip through. A Bitter Curse. And we'll culminate and end things off with a couple challenge battles, Expert and Master Difficulty. And Nightmare if it's around, but I don't think it is. Oh, so Halloween Ellie, her mana spiral, right. We're supposed to talk about that. Unfortunately, it looks like Halloween Ellie's mana spiral is not what people were really hoping for. It looks like it's not much of a power increase for her, and it's very slight, if anything, and I think some people even see it as sort of a downgrade, or at least considering the expenditure you make for it, not worth doing. So it is kind of sad to see that. People were pretty upset about Celiera's mana spiral, even though I think that one was even at least a little more interesting than Halloween Ellie's. Halloween Ellie just having paralysis on top of what she was already doing does feel like kind of the minimum amount of mana spiral effort that you could put forward. Affliction enabling and affliction punishing just seems to be the word of the day lately with a lot of adventurers. And honestly, her having paralysis might even be a bad thing in the sense that you're going to exhaust your paralysis caps sooner. It's one of the reasons that players had a hard time running with Albert in their comps, because Albert can just paralyze the enemy really rapidly until Radiant Swan Song came around. because she exists, I feel like Halloween Alisand's spiral isn't just truly a travesty, and it is better than she is normally, but it's not a good spiral. It's always kind of sad to see that, because it's like that's the one lifeline that adventurers in this game have to potentially be better, and when you see their spirals not actually being good, it's just a little bit of a bummer for Halloween Alisand fans. Incidentally, I was thinking about this. Apparently, I have all of the Alisands at 50 mana nodes. I'm not a big Alisand fan, but it just sort of worked out this way, where Halloween Alisand happened to be one of the very first 5-star adventurers I got, and she was the first Lance I took to 50 nodes, wanting that co-ability, basically. And some of the earliest content I remember using her in was like off-element clears of High Midgard Sormer back in January, February 2019, just for fun, along with like somebody else's Ieyasu, and it was a pretty fun time to have built her up. After that, I ended up building up regular Alisand for the Mercurial Gauntlet, because she's so fantastic in that. Then I got Wedding Alisand, and I didn't have a meta wind character for High Mercury's trial, in particular once I got to Expert difficulty High Mercury. So I built up Wedding Alisand because that's the character I happen to have. Not a lot of people want to run with Eleonora or Wedding Aoi, and to be fair, they're just not quite as good, so I did end up building her. And then finally, when Gala Alisand came out, I had already heavily invested into a Water Axe. I was playing Pietro or Summer Giulietta in High Brunhilde's trial, and Gala Ellie just made that so much easier to grind. It actually kind of made me sad because I had such a niche weapon before. You know, not everybody was repping an axe and bringing an axe to that battle, but after that, everybody was on the axe bandwagon, and you saw a lot of brand new axe players repping Halloween, or Gala Alisand rather. So I ultimately invested in her. It just was so much easier to grind out. You could go into any random room, find a room and grind out, compared to using burnable characters, at least back then. Obviously now, you know, you're looking at less than a minute clear. You're probably going to be fine no matter what you run. But back then it was pretty tight, and just, you could die. I mean, if you didn't get your burn healed properly, you could just easily die. So, alright, I think we're probably going to actually play the challenge battle soon. Sigils and Vigils. Okay. How many more of these are there? Basically, what I remember about the story is they're wearing these costumes to either lure or repel the fiends, and Alisand is very embarrassed by her costume. That's pretty much what I remember. Althemia is a nurse, Edward is a vampire, and that's pretty much it. Is Althemia a nurse? Actually, now that I say that, she's a healer, but maybe not. Maybe she's also a vampire? I don't know. Now that I think about Eileen being a nurse, it makes me call into question how many nurses are in this game, you know? Alright, so this is progressing fairly slowly, but I do appreciate the ambiance, so no complaints from me. Okay, boss battle time. I don't know if there's any way they could scale up the difficulty of this type of content, since they want it to be so accessible. Maybe something as simple as a slider. I know that would just basically affect stats, but maybe they could consider implementing that in the future. Alright, we fought the Pumpkin there, so I think we're at the end of the road here, and we're going to get into the main content of the event. We're getting some trick-or-treats. Fair enough. And episode 5, it feels like it's got to be the culmination. It says Halloween Memories. It's got that lovely background art. So let's skip it. Okay, we got some Jack Chocolates, and here we go. We got our boss battle available. So, for this one, I mean, this is beginner, so I'll probably just leave on auto battle, but I feel like for expert, and if we get an EX, I'll turn it off. I'm not sure, but perhaps the first time you do EX, they, well, we'll turn it off. Okay, we should have just left it on. I probably just slowed us down there. I have on screen shake right now, and I didn't zoom out, which normally I play with my camera settings zoomed all the way out and turn off screen shake, turn off any skill inset stuff. dragon transformation zoom in, because I think for high level play, it's a lot easier when you have your fixed camera. But when you want to just enjoy and spectate, like with the Onslaught event, it's kind of fun to turn on those settings because it makes it more exciting and action oriented. So that's like what I did for Nadine and Linnea's event. I mean, really, I should be using Chocolatiers at this rate, but I didn't want to rework my team. Let's get out of there. We have our life shield, so nothing too bad can happen to us. The old wisdom used to be to defeat these menaces, since I think you get some drops from them, but obviously that's not a possibility with how quickly we defeated the boss. We could go to painful lengths to try to defeat the menace sooner than the boss, but I don't think my current AI would allow that to happen. How many more Fafnir medals do we need? I guess I haven't played a lot this week since we're already coming up to the weekend. But I do suppose they dole those out in just the right amount that you finish before the end of the week if you're using your stamina and gather wings throughout. Okay, we're getting to expert. And they didn't expand the facility level this time, so the max level should still be 35 for the Sweet Retreat, so we should already be at the max. These Halloween slimes are very cute. Alright, well, it did look cool for striking through everything, but it wasn't particularly effective. I do like playing blades, though, in facility events. Blades and axes. Blades are really fun just to noom around the battlefield, like swoop in and out, and use their force strikes. It's very satisfying to do, and they also have pretty wide hitting attacks, so that makes them pretty good in general in facility events. But axes with their force strike are also super effective at accumulating Slayer strength, Striker strength, those types of buffs. For now, I've put a Slayer's Devastation Wyrmprint on Gala, a new look, the one that we got from the second Fire Emblem event, Fire Emblem Kindred Ties. So I'm going to use that to try ramp up off of these smaller enemies. And I wonder if this still works. It looks like it doesn't work. There used to be a bug where if you held Force Strike, your AI would never start moving. And basically you could use that with like Xander and just only Force Strike for movement. Your AI would never steal kills from you, so you could max out Striker's strength immediately on like some of the initial waves. And right now I'm Force Striking. It's not actually that effective or anything, but apparently my Force Strike's strong enough to just one-shot everybody. And so is my skill, I guess. So that's why I was doing it, because it felt pretty cool to do. Okay. Well, we need a light Dread King Rathalos for Luca here to make that super effective. Actually, if we had a shadow one, can you imagine with Linnea? That would be pretty sweet. Okay, let's see how many trick-or-treats we gained. 21k seems solid. Anywhere from 20 to 30k is pretty good. I think the daily endeavors are to collect 30k a day, but we'll confirm that after we do the master difficulty. And I guess the only thing we didn't get to see was EX in this video. Maybe we'll try get EX. Such a leisurely, kind of casual look at this. So I hope you don't mind this video every once in a while, video of this type. But I have a feeling next week is going to be pretty jam-packed for Dragalia, with the story, you know, with new Void battles, which is, you know, kind of meh, but new Agito possibly happening next week even, but most likely the week after. Alright, these fiends are not all dying in one hit, but they are dying in like 2 to 3 hits, so... That Skeleton Knight, though. Now, unfortunately, I can't really maintain flurry effects between waves. If I had a combo time boosting character in my backline, like Fritz or Mitsuhide, I probably could. So that does make Gala a little bit weaker for this without a character like that around. Whoa! Oh, it was nothing. But it kind of makes me sad. That attack used to be like super lethal. If you let that hit you, it's like 3 of your AI would die. Well, we took a decent sized hit there, but nothing really happened to us. We didn't really need much healing. We didn't really get to charge up many of our skills even. I guess that's it for this facility event, everyone. Let's check out if Nightmare's available. If not, we may spin a yarn as we do EX just for fun, see how many times it takes to get us an EX. Remember, unlike in raid events and Onslaught, the EX don't stack in this, so you need to get them one at a time and use them before you get the next one. Yeah, it looks like this doesn't start until that same day as everything else starts. We did get some nice goodies though. Yeah, and this does go up to 30k and then 5 Jack Chocolates, defeating the Pumpkin twice. So let's collect all of this, and then we'll collect our 66 Endeavor rewards that we have here. We can't get all these weapons. Oh no. I think I messed up. I don't have 4 weapon slots open. I should have accepted those one at a time if possible, but I can always wait till the version update to collect these, or maybe not, depending on when this expires. But I was just going to sell them anyway, so it's kind of all good. It's all the same to me. Okay. Anything to note in the treasure trade before we move on? Or is this pretty much like every facility event? Yeah, pretty much just your standard stuff in here. Doesn't look like they've added anything. Did they add tier 4 orbs? That is a good question. They did. Nice. So these will be a good pickup. And otherwise, it looks pretty standard. Some things may be a little higher in value as of late, like these dragon scales may end up being a little bit better in value, considering we have our Dracolith level cap raised pretty soon as of the next version update. So let's do this really quick. Frankly, this should be done with gold Fafnirs and not with my team setup. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much because you don't get a lot of gold off of it, but nevertheless, it's probably worth it. And with chocolatiers in the place of any non-event boosting Wyrmprint, but quickly we're going to get extra Plunder Pal, so we'll be able to distribute event boosting Wyrmprints across our entire team. So it's not really like an immediate need to change to chocolatiers. We're going to change up anyway pretty soon. So no EX on that. Let's try one more time. Oh, we're low on stamina. Let's go to the castle. I know we have some honey tea. Let's use our honey tea. It's funny, a lot of players seem to think that the Onslaught event, it wasn't worth going up to 2 million. And I can see how you could reach that conclusion from a time management standpoint. But from a reward standpoint, at least the quick math that I did, it seemed like it was definitely worth going to 2 million. Because if you're going for 1.25 million, you could get to 1.5 million, which was the next gold honey milestone, in less honey than you would get rewarded, assuming you're getting close to the max possible points from every EX battle in the Onslaught event. And then for 1.5, you could get to the next milestone and all the way to 2 million for less than the cost of the honey that was given for free. So it seems like it was worth it, or maybe you'd be down like 1 or 2 honeys. Not that much, as long as you were getting all of those point increases off of EX, and you could pretty much get all but one of them off of EX from auto battle, so I think it was probably worth clearing out the event all the way to 2 million. Alright. This one, thankfully, is more tuned, these facility events, so it's just to 1 million. Still a good amount to do over 10 days, but if you have time, pace yourself, enjoy this one. If you haven't played it before, I hope you had a lot of fun with it. But now we've cleared everything we can, so that is going to do it for today's video, everyone. Thank you as always for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.